the Jewish festival of Hanukkah, what it means to the Jewish community, and why there's a universal message we can all listen to. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Your host, Jeff Oldfather for Southwest Center Podcast. I have for today's episode a very special guest who's been with us before. His name is Rabbi Benzion Shemtov. I was going to say your last name first, but Rabbi Benzion Shemtov with the Chabad of Sierra Vista. Thank you for coming back.
Definitely. My pleasure.
All right. Now, just so you know, I moved to a shot where everyone can see the menorah, and today we're going to talk about Hanukkah because even though it's not one of the high holy days, it still carries some very special significance for Jews, and there's a universal message that we'll get to that everyone can listen to, whether they're Jewish or not. So let's start with, Rabbi, a basic description of the festival, the celebration, and a little bit of its history and how we celebrate it.
Okay. So thank you for having me on again. The holiday of Hanukkah. In Hebrew, it's actually pronounced Chanukah. For many people, it's hard to stress the ch.
Let me try. Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. There you go.
Close enough.
Yes,
okay.
Excellent. So the holiday of Hanukkah is a time that we celebrate the rededication of the temple. And the actual word Chanukah, it's similar to the word of Chanukah's Habayis, which means the dedication of the house.
Okay.
So the name of Hanukkah is related and connected to the dedication of the temple. So what exactly was the dedication of the temple that we're talking about? So about 2,000 years ago or so, the Syrian Greek emperor was ruling over the land of Jerusalem, and they allowed the Jewish people to live there. However, they wanted to take full control over the service that was done in the Holy Temple. And as a result of that, they defiled many of the components of many of the items, the religious ceremonies and services that were done in the temple. They defiled it and made it unfit and unclean to be able to be used by the Jewish people.
Okay.
So as you see, there's a menorah. The menorah that they had in the temple was actually a 7-branch menorah.
Mm-hmm.
We have an 8-branch with a lead candle, making it a 9-branch menorah.
Which we'll explain in a little bit.
Yes, correct. So in the temple, they lit a menorah every single day of the year.
Go ahead and keep
Yes.
telling us. I'm just
Yes.
going to turn this a little bit.
So the menorah that they had in the temple was the 7-branch menorah, essentially one for every day. However, they lit every single candle every day of the year, not related to the holiday of Hanukkah. And the idea was that from the light of this candelabra, from this menorah, the light will shine forth through Jerusalem and light up a spiritual light throughout the world.
Okay.
All right. When the Syrian Greeks went and defiled the temple, one of the things that they did is they broke the seal of the high priest, rendering all the oil that would be used for the menorah to be unfit, uncleansed to use.
All of it.
All of it. They did find one flask, one jug, and as a result of that...
That had not been defiled.
That had not been defiled, and as a result of that, they were under a predicament. How do we now rededicate the temple? How do we do it with only one jug? One jug will only last us for one night. Or they could say, you know what, we'll just put a little bit. It won't last us a full night. Maybe we'll use a little bit every day for the next week or so until we could produce clean olive oil, and it'll just be lit for, let's say, an hour a day for the next week or so. or just do one night and let us at least rededicate it properly that one time. And
But
basically,
that wouldn't hold with tradition.
that it wouldn't hold with tradition that to stop the service once you start it.
Oh,
So
okay.
basically, if they would do it a little bit every night for 7 days, you could say, you know what, we're keeping up the tradition with the best of our ability. Let's do it that way.
Yeah.
But they decided, you know what, look, we're gonna at least let us do it one time, the right way. And the fact that we'll have to make a 7-day pause because we don't have oil, we can't do anything about that. We'll just go ahead and I'm sure we'll be able to move forward 7 days later with new oil. What ended up happening was they filled up all the branches of the candelabra with that one jug, of cleansed oil, enough for one night, and a miracle took place. And when they came back the next morning, the oil was still as if nothing was burnt, and
Really?
as a result, that continued for an 8-day process until they were able to procure additional oil going forward. And what we celebrate on the holiday of Hanukkah is that miracle.
And it was a miracle.
100%.
Yeah. Wow. So everything continued as it should have been, even though it looked like they were only going to be able to do it for one night.
Correct.
So what is the message there?
So before we get to the message, I want to just
sure. This is your celebration.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Before we get to the message, so the way we celebrate Hanukkah, let's unpack the way we celebrate, and then we could understand the universal message for everyone. So,
by the way, this is fascinating. You know, we light the menorah in our household. My wife is Jewish. Her whole entire family. I love the tradition there and saying the blessing.
Correct.
In fact, will we have a chance to say the blessing so people can hear it and then you can translate it, or is that not appropriate?
I could read off the blessing and translate it. Yes.
Okay, when we get to that point, but I just think it's a wonderful celebration, and I'm learning a lot here, especially looking forward to the universal message. So sorry for the interruption.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so as I mentioned, the custom in the temple was to light all the branches every night. Every night.
Right, for 8 nights.
For every day of the year, they would light the candelabra.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. In the temple, they lit it every single night. We celebrate the miracle that took place with the one jug of oil. So we celebrate it only for 8 days.
I got you now.
Okay? And that's what the holiday of Hanukkah
is.
Resembles, is that miracle, that rededication of lighting the menorah that lasted for 8 days.
Okay.
Now, what's beautiful about the holiday of Hanukkah, and I have to say this because as there are many different Jewish people, and everyone comes from a unique background.
Mm-hmm.
No two backgrounds are identical. And what's beautiful about the holiday of Hanukkah is that everyone that celebrates the holiday of Hanukkah does so in the most beautiful fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll explain how. So, according to Jewish tradition, the way one can fulfill their obligation of kindling their menorah is to light one candle every night. So that means the first night you light one candle, the second night you light one candle, the third night you light one candle, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
A nicer way of celebrating the holiday of Hanukkah is that every member of the household lights one candle.
Yes.
All right. So if you have father and children, so you would have one for every single member of the family, and you would light one candle. What the rabbis explain as going beyond the measure of responsibility of celebrating the holiday of Hanukkah is that every single member of the household lights one candle on the first night, 2 candles on the second night, 3 candles on the third night, and so forth, always adding one candle.
Now, that's how it's commonly celebrated now?
Today, everyone celebrates
yes.
the holiday of Hanukkah, lighting one candle the first night, two on the second, and so forth.
In a specific order,
Yes.
which we'll get to in
Yes.
a minute.
Yes. No, so the idea is that everyone is celebrating in the most beautiful manner. So part of this discussion is, why are we celebrating one candle the first night to the second? Let us count down and light 8 candles the first night and work our way
Right.
to, okay, as soon as we hit the last candle, we'll only have one candle left. And like this, it would represent that the candles, the amount of candles we're lighting, that's how many days are left of the holiday of Hanukkah.
Okay.
We don't celebrate like that because we believe, and this is where the universal message comes in. We believe that when you do something good, you have to always increase. So on the first night, we lit up our community, our household.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we have public menorah lightings that we do it out in the open to allow others to see and to celebrate. And when we light one candle on the first night, we have to understand that just because last night we only lit one candle, that's not enough for tomorrow night.
Oh, you have
We
to
always have to look.
increase the good.
We always have to increase the light.
The
which,
light.
Which translates into good.
Okay. All right.
So-
Very good. Well, I like that.
So that is the message of Hanukkah, that basically our job is we need to be that candle. And if you take a look at a flame, usually when you do something good for someone else,
Mm-hmm.
it takes up of your time, your resources.
Sure.
And as a result, you may feel like you're missing something as a result of that. When you take a candle and touch it to another candle, what ends up happening is nothing gets diminished from the initial candle.
Okay.
The only thing that happens is that something else, another candle gets added, and another flame.
You've doubled the
flickers.
light.
You double the light.
And you've doubled the good.
Exactly.
And, it's symbolic, but it's a beautiful message. I mean, is that how the word you would use, beautiful?
Yes.
Yeah. And I like to think that, yes, this could resonate with Jews and non-Jews alike, because I think everyone, really, I believe in the goodness of most people. And I think that everyone would like to think that they want to do good. Not only that, but be able to increase what they do for others simply by lighting a candle, following the message of that candle.
Yeah, and what's beautiful is nothing gets taken away from you by doing that.
Right. This is very important, I think, to bring that out, because so many people don't understand the importance of symbolism and how we can use it to guide our own lives. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And so this is a way to kind of remind ourselves annually how to guide our own lives and do good.
100%. And the menorah, and the truth is, the whole celebration of Hanukkah, although it's one of those celebrations where you don't have to come together, but it's a time where everybody wants to come together, because they have that warmth, that spirit, that energy of sharing, of caring. And one of the customs is that we light the menorah by a window.
Right. And leave it in the window all night.
And leave it in the window. And the reason for that is because when you want to share something good, you can't hide it behind your closed doors.
That's great. I love that.
So the only way to do that is
let the world see.
Exactly.
Let the world see and let the world do well.
Correct.
Yes. All right. So now I want to touch on this very quickly, because I have heard this expressed by people that I know who get confused sometimes by how closely or sometimes aligned Hanukkah is with Christmas. They have nothing to do with each other. Why is it that the Jewish calendar sometimes gets them very close together, if not overlapping?
So Hanukkah is an 8-day holiday that's based off of the Jewish calendar. And just as I mentioned earlier, that the word Chanukah comes from the word Chanukah Sabayis, which is dedication of the house,
Mm-hmm.
the word Chanukah is also made up of the Hebrew letters Chanu, Chaf He, which is the dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Chaf He is the numerical value. These are Hebrew letters.
Mm-hmm.
Chaf He is the numerical value of the date 25.
Okay.
And every year, the rededication takes place on the 25th day of the month of Kislev, of the Hebrew month. And this is when it took place over 2,000 years ago, this rededication. So we celebrate it every year. It happens to be that for us, it's in the winter. But if someone's celebrating in Australia or on the other side of the hemisphere,
It's in the summer.
it's in the
yeah.
summer. I think, not because I have never celebrated Hanukkah in the summertime, but I would assume it's nicer to celebrate it in the winter.
Oh, yeah, I think so. It's something about the chilly weather and pulling people together that just somehow seems, to
Correct.
fit. Yeah.
Brings everyone together and keeps everybody warm inside and out.
Okay, now talk a little bit about the order in which the candles are lit and why that's significant. What's the term for the center candle? There is a term.
Yes, it's a lead candle. It's a shamish.
The shamash.
And basically, it's the center candle over here.
Right.
It doesn't have to be. I'm going to take it off.
Okay.
And basically, what you do is you take the lead candle and you light the menorah from right to left.
From your right to left.
From your right to left.
Yes.
All right. And
So let me clarify that. So that's the shamas,
yes,
and you're going to light it first and then light the furthest candle on the right.
correct. And when you make the blessing, you would make the blessing while only the shamash is lit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go ahead and you light the candles corresponding to the days that you're holding in the holiday of Hanukkah.
So that first candle you leave lit till...
Till it goes out.
Okay. And which, if you're fortunate, lasts until sunrise.
So
It can.
it can. I've seen it go till sunrise, but the idea is that it should be lit at night.
Yeah. At sundown.
At sundown, and it should go into the night a little bit. There is a timeline as to how long into the night it should be lit. And also, just an interesting factor, let's say one is traveling
Mm-hmm.
and they're unable to light the menorah in the appropriate time.
Right. Which
They-
has happened to us.
So the ideal time to do it is obviously by sunset.
Mm-hmm.
If one has to delay it, let's say they're traveling or whatever the reason is, one can light the menorah as long as someone else is awake.
Oh, okay.
And the reason for that is because, like we mentioned, the whole idea of celebrating Hanukkah is to be able to share with someone else.
Sure.
If everyone in your house is already sleeping, and even if you're doing get out the window, but if everyone in your house is already sleeping, there's a good chance that people in the community are also sleeping in your neighborhood are
Right.
sleeping. So you at least have to make sure one person
is awake.
is awake so they could see
Okay.
the lights of your menorah.
Now, let's talk. You light the first the shamas, then the furthest candle to your right. Now, the second night.
The second night, you would do the same. However, you prepare the newest candle first. So you would prepare the second candle and then the first one, and then light
Right.
it again.
So you wouldn't do the one furthest to right, and then the
Correct.
second, you
Correct.
do it the reverse.
Correct.
And on the third night, it would be the
same.
third candle, the second, then the first.
Correct.
Okay. So what is the significance of that? That every night you start with a new...
Well, you're making a new blessing, and you want it to go on the newest edition.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense.
Yes.
Interesting. And you go 8 nights.
Mm-hmm.
Then by the time the 8th candle is lit, and that should be the last night of Hanukkah, and the next day it's over.
The next day, it's over. Correct.
Yeah. So, how about the blessing? Do you want to say that? Is that appropriate?
I could read the blessing. I'm not going to actually say it with God's name, but I will say the word Hashem as to change instead of saying the actual name of God.
And I always ask if it's appropriate, but
Yes.
it's a learning experience. I think there are going to be many people watching this who've never heard the blessing.
Okay. And so because we're not actually physically lighting the candles,
Yes.
so I'm going to recite the blessing without saying God's name in its original form.
Okay.
Instead, I'm going to insert the word Hashem.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Go
and
ahead.
I'll do it with the tune as well. That way you have the notes as well as the words.
Very good.
Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech olam asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Chanukah. There's a second blessing, and then I'll go to the translation.
All right.
Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech olam sha'asa nisim lavoseinu bayamim hahem bizman hazeh. So the first blessing translates as, "Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to kindle the Chanukah light." The second blessing is, "Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who performed miracles for our forefathers in those days at this time."
Wonderful. You know, I have to say, I have only heard it sung or the tone once before in my life, and I really appreciate you doing that.
Yes.
It really adds a lot, I think, to the blessing.
Yes.
And you looked like you
It gets you into the spirit. 100%.
That was fantastic. I'm going to have you back because every time we get together, I learn so much about this, and I appreciate the significance and the history. You know, the Jewish traditions have so much history behind them. And in fact, I mention this not to confuse people or cloud the waters, but the candelabra existed before the celebration of Hanukkah.
Correct. It's biblical. The to have a candelabra in the temple was a biblical commandment. Like I said, it looked different than the ones that we have today.
Right. God was very specific about how that candelabra was made.
Correct.
Can you?
So he actually, Moses was unsure how to form the candelabra, and as a result, God had the vision of a candelabra appear through a fire, exactly what it would look like, and basically
what it would be made of.
Yes. So he said that it should look exactly like this, and it should be made out of one piece of gold. You shouldn't carve and basically solder them together. It should be carved out as one piece of gold. And that's actually one of the reasons. Many of the menorahs that you may see, many of the candelabras that you may find are circular.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've rounded. Seen that, yes.
This is called... this is actually on an angle.
Mm-hmm.
It follows the tradition of Maimonides, which lived about 900 years ago. And he basically studied Jewish thought. He was actually the first Jewish codifier that took all the Jewish texts and put it in an organized fashion for Jewish law.
And that became known as...
We refer to it as Maimonides, but it's the 14 books. It's called Yad HaChazaka, which is the hand. Yad means hand, Chazaka of strength.
Uh-huh.
And that became what was known as the initial source of Jewish law. And over there, he describes that a menorah that they had in the temple was actually on an angle. And he provided like a manuscript with a drawing of what exactly it looked like. And the one on the angle is the most similar to that.
But
picture.
Whether you have the circular or the angular,
the circular or the angular, as long as it's all within one line, the candles, it's a kosher menorah. I'm just explaining why this one is on an angle.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want us to know? Yes, this is very important. You're going to be going around the county. But, before we get there, explain a little bit. The first time we met, I want to, for our viewers, do a little recap. What I learned was that there are about 400 active or participating Jews in Cochise County. Chabad is more learning center than just a temple, and that the rabbi and your wife have been very busy trying to build that community. So how is that going?
So very well, thank God. And the holiday of Hanukkah is actually one of our prime times to grow that.
So segue off of that, you are going to be going around the county for Hanukkah lighting ceremonies.
Correct. One of the nicest ways of celebrating Hanukkah is by celebrating with the community. So what we've done, and this has been done since the 1970s, that Chabad organizations have gone into public spaces to have community menorah lightings.
For anyone who wants to
anyone
attend.
that wants to join. And the idea is that it's in a public place to allow, because when you do it in a public place, there's no barrier to entry. Whereas if you would do it in your synagogue, people may feel, oh, I don't belong there. I don't belong to the synagogue. I don't belong to the tradition. So by putting it into a public space, you're actually sharing the light, the message of Hanukkah with anyone and everyone. And that is the message of Hanukkah. So what we have done is we established relationships in many of the cities within Cochise County. And
Benson being one.
And we actually take one night that we bring a 6-foot menorah with us to each of these locations, and we set up a party, a celebration, where we have music, Hanukkah music. We give out the traditional foods associated with the holiday of Hanukkah, as well as light the candles. And then anyone that is in need of their own menorah, we have a menorah that's made out of tin.
I have you on a single shot so people can see that very well.
Okay.
Hold it up like that.
Okay, so we have a single tin menorah that people could take home with them, as well as candles for every night, and a dreidel.
The dreidel.
That you could play on the holiday of Hanukkah. And basically, we give this out free of charge. And the idea is that we want everyone to have the opportunity to be that light and celebrate it at home.
And I keep saying this because it's important, Jew and non-Jew alike.
They're all welcome.
Yeah. Now, let me ask, Rabbi, because you raised a very important point. This is a wonderful way to bring the community together and feel like everyone is included. But let's say that I wanted to attend the Chabad on a night of Hanukkah, not being a member of the congregation. Is that allowed?
So at these parties, everyone comes.
Yes.
When we do services in town, we do have many people that are of the Jewish faith, and we have some that are not. We try to keep everything to traditions. So if you're willing to learn and to conform with the way we do things and learn from that, then you're welcome to join. When we do our services in Hebrew, we do give a running commentary, an explanation as to what happened, what's going on, why we're doing things the way we're doing it, and so forth.
So let's focus on this. In Benson, this is going to be at the Visitor Center. What date?
So let me just run through all the days, and we'll focus on Benson.
Yeah, I want to come back and then we'll use Benson as a way of how this works.
Okay.
So the dates and the celebrations.
So Hanukkah this year begins December 14th.
Right.
And it goes till the 22nd. December 21st is the last night of Hanukkah. We have celebrations, community celebrations, on Sunday, the first night of Hanukkah, and then Benson we're going to have on Tuesday night.
The 16th.
the 16th. We're one of
By
the
the way,
places.
Rabbi,
Yes.
I will take all the locations and put them on the screen.
Okay.
So you don't have to run through those unless you want to, but I will.
So I just
put
want to
them up.
mention the locations,
Yeah,
not
go ahead.
necessarily the dates or times.
Go ahead.
So where we celebrate is we're going to be celebrating as a community in Sierra Vista, Fort Chanukah, Benson, and Bisbee.
Okay. All right. So those 4 communities.
Yes,
And here on Tuesday. Now,
Yes.
it starts what time?
5 p.m.
And what does that look like? You come, you set up the menorah, then
So so at the visitor center in Benson, we set up the menorah. We have refreshments. Everyone comes together. We share a message for Hanukkah related to either what's going on in the world, how we could apply the message of Hanukkah to what's going on, give some words of inspiration. We light the menorah, and we just come together, celebrate with music. Everyone receives some Hanukkah gelt.
show the gelt. You have the
yes.
gelt there,
Yeah, so we have some gelt over here,
which is
which this is the cop out for what it actually is. Gelt is a Yiddish word for means money. Someone figured out that they could put chocolate and give it out as a cop
looking
out,
like a coin.
looking like a coin, and it could suffice for Hanukkah gelt. And today they actually make some coins with emoji. So you have
That's
fun
great.
ones.
Your face ought to be ought to be on one of those, or mine.
So you have this way, but gelt really means money. And the idea is that the whole idea of Hanukkah is to share.
I like that.
And we
Okay.
want to be able to increase in our kindness. So the custom is actually to give out money
Yeah.
to be able to give to someone that is in need. And the real message is when you give out money is that we believe that there's no such thing as a coincidence. And if 2 people meet each other at any location at any time, it's for a divine reason. And that divine reason is to be able to help a third person.
Well, you told me that the first time we met. You said there was a divine meaning behind that, or bringing us together.
Correct.
And I like to feel that it helps someone.
Correct.
You know, all it has to do is bring the light to one person.
Correct. Moses only had one mother.
Well, there you go. Yeah, explain that.
So someone could say, okay, you know what? Moses was the greatest person of all time. He was the most humble. There's no way that regardless of what I do, I'm going to be able to reach any great, lofty figure or anything of that nature. And we have to be reminded that Moses only had one mother, that even from one mother came a child that grew up to be a Moses. We could be, so to speak, that next Moses, that next leader. We could be that next light for someone else.
Very good. I like that too. There's so much meaning and tradition, and I guess I'm not exactly sure the phrase I'm searching for, but it seems that everything in the Jewish community that's based on tradition has a foundation. So it means something, and it's been carried through the ages.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's what carries us through. Our tradition is what keeps us going, and tradition is not necessarily biblical based. It could be our rabbis or communities from ancient times established tradition, but because we carry it forward, it keeps us close together, and it keeps us on track to doing what our ancestors held to be the core glue to be able to keep the Jewish tradition going.
And I would say synonymous with strength, the strength to keep going.
Yes.
To reach back to that tradition and say, you know, this is what we're going to continue to do.
Yes, and having these traditions helps you, guide you in that.
So I don't want to minimize reality, but excuse me, I have to ask about a movie, Fiddler on the Roof.
Okay.
Do you like that movie?
I did enjoy when I watched it. I watched it several times.
Well, because it's, in my mind, it stresses some things very fluently, eloquently. Tradition,
Correct.
the need to have that tradition, how it's the bedrock for a people.
Correct.
Are there any other, aside from the entertainment value, messages that you think we should take away from that? Because it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
So the message of that movie is very important. That if you keep to tradition, you'll be on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing more important today.
Family.
The family. There's keeping close together. There's nothing more important today to be able to continue to have Jewish continuity than being able to keep to tradition.
Yeah, it's just, and it carries that very well.
Yes.
I remember seeing that when I was about 11. I was just amazed.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
Rabbi.
about the same time that I did.
We have something in common, although I think I'm a little older than you.
Probably.
Oh, that's great. Now, we are going to kind of switch gears because now we have to talk about something that's very solemn.
So
Go ahead.
Before we close out with Hanukkah, I want to just touch upon this.
Sure.
This is a tabletop. It has 4 letters on it. You might not be able to see it. It's the letters in Hebrew is Nun, Gimel, Hey, and Shin, which it means it's the first letter of the words Nes Gadol Haya Sham. A great miracle happened there. And basically what took place at the times of Hanukkah is that the Jewish people were not permitted to learn. So what they would do is they would hide and learn. And what they would do is when they heard footsteps of soldiers or of anyone coming that they were unfamiliar with, they would pull out a tabletop and spin it and make as if that's all they were doing. And as a result of that, that became the source of playing this game on Hanukkah. Some of the traditional foods that we eat is oily foods, because the miracle of Hanukkah took place with oil as well.
Okay.
So I think that kind of gives us a full, complete story and outline of the holiday of Hanukkah.
Well, thank you. Rabbi, how many people did you have at your celebration last year in Benson?
So in Benson, we kind of get about a dozen, sometimes 24 people.
Okay, Sierra Vista, the larger crowd.
Sierra Vista, we get close to 100 people.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, the size of the crowd, I'm sure, is good no matter what.
Correct.
Carries some significance.
Even one person coming, and the truth is, even if no one shows up, I'm not encouraging that no one should show up, but I believe the cars that drive by and see us doing the celebration, whether it's for one person that actually is joining us, or 2 people, 5 people, whatever it is, the cars that drive by see that we're celebrating, and it has a tremendous positive impact.
Rabbi, is there any other place besides the podcast where you're promoting the celebration? In the newspaper?
So in the newspaper, Cool FM is another avenue that goes.
Okay, good.
That they do it on Facebook. They came last year to our celebration and covered it.
Do you have this on your Facebook page?
I don't think yet. But
I need something that I can post on my Facebook and my Southwest Center podcast page. Would
100%.
you have something?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, good. Now, are we ready to talk about something much more serious?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just set the stage here. In today's climate, political climate, in other words, otherwise, we have so much lack of civility, contentious discussion, and there are those who say this never happened. And we were married by not a rabbi, but a Jewish man, a photographer who had been in Auschwitz. So, of course, we're talking about the Holocaust. And you try to keep that memory alive in a very special way and talk a little bit about what's coming up.
Yes. So January 7th, we invited a Holocaust survivor to share firsthand testimonies, share her experience of her time when she was in Auschwitz. She was there as a teenager, as a young 16-year-old. And the reason why we're doing this is because it's very important that our youth learn about the responsibility that everyone was made in the image of God, and therefore we have to respect every single person, regardless if we agree with them, disagree with them, whether there's contentious reasons to maybe stay away from them. Everyone is a human being, and we have to respect them. And what took place in the times of the Holocaust was horrific, and we have to make sure that we don't, we never forget it. That way, it doesn't happen again.
Right.
And so what we do is we actually collaborate with the Cochise County Superintendent's Office. Part of
Superintendent of Education?
Superintendent
Jackie
of Education,
Clay.
Dr. Jackie Clay.
Yeah.
Yes. So we actually we collaborate with her office, with Dr. Jackie Clay, on bringing a Holocaust survivor, because we believe, so the state of Arizona has a requirement of teaching Holocaust education in the school system. This happened a few years ago, and although curriculums may be a great avenue to be able to learn about the past, hearing a firsthand testimony really has
absolutely.
A world of a difference, of an impact.
So your guest is, her name, and how old is she?
Her name is Helga Melmad, and she lives currently in Florida, and she's 97 years old.
Wow.
And she's coming out, like I said, January 7th to speak in Sierra Vista at Buena High School Klein's Art Theater.
Right.
And she will be there to share her experience, obviously to take some questions, be able to answer some questions. And the way we are able to do this is through generous community sponsors that help fund this. There is a minimal entry fee. However, because we feel that it's very important to share this message with our youth, any teacher or student can attend for free.
What is for someone like myself, the cost?
It's a $20 entry fee.
Can I do that at the door?
One can do that at the door.
Or can we go to, you have a website?
We have a
you?
website, and we have flyers, and there's a QR code on the flyer that you could scan, and it'll take you straight to the website.
What is your website?
It's jewishsierravista.com/survivor.
Okay. So go to the website, can purchase tickets there.
Correct.
Or at the door if necessary.
Correct.
And again, the date is January 7th.
Correct.
And what time do the doors open? What times the programs start?
It's Wednesday, January 7th. Doors open at 6 p.m. and the program will begin, God willing, at 6:30.
Okay. My apologies. I think I said Tuesday, but it's Wednesday. January 7th.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Rabbi, is there anything else? I want to mention something. Up until this happened, for me, it was always an abstract. But when we were married by a rabbi. And I'm sorry, we had a Jewish photographer at the ceremony. And he was a survivor of Auschwitz. And he showed me the tattoo.
Correct.
And he told me the story that this gentleman, who's now a professional photographer, he was, in his 70s at the time, learned photography by sneaking out at night, going to where the warehouses kept all the property that had been confiscated from the Jews, and took these cameras and learned how to use them. That's how he learned how to be a photographer. And I asked him, I said, does it bother you to talk about it? He says, no, I wish more people would ask me. So,
yeah, and you have to think about it like this. I'm in my 30s and I have a hard time getting out of bed. So just imagine you're 97 years old, traveling from Florida to come and speak. This is a very important message that she's coming out for. And we are so grateful that she's willing to make this trip. It's not easy to travel.
No, not anymore.
Not in today's climate with the airlines, with delays. You never know what you're going to get.
Right.
So we are so grateful that she's willing to make this trip.
I think that's
to be
wonderful.
able to share with the community.
Well, we'll be there, and I'll bring everyone I can think of to do this and go online. Once again, JewishSierraVista.com
/survivor.
/survivor for tickets. Or just visit Jewish Sierra Vista to learn a little bit more about the Jewish community.
Correct.
All right. Rabbi, how long do you think we've been talking?
A half hour, maybe?
No, 50 minutes.
Okay. So there
That's
you
great, isn't it? When you have such a great conversation, when the time flies by. I've really enjoyed this. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
No, I think we covered everything.
We'll bring you back in a couple of months. Is there anything of significance happening in, say, the February, March, April timeframe, or should we just get together and have fun?
Well, we could get together and have fun. If something comes up, then I will definitely reach out.
Please. I don't know if you want to mention this. I'm going to mention it. You are thinking of starting a kosher kitchen at your Chabad.
Correct.
And maybe that's something that if you get that going, I can take some pictures and we can discuss that.
Okay, definitely.
Oh, by the way, mention what a Chabad is.
So Chabad is an organization.
Most people think of a Jewish temple.
Correct.
But this is not a temple.
Correct. It's actually very, it's very appropriate to talk about Chabad. You mentioned that this is going to air on Wednesday.
I'm actually going to try and get it on tomorrow, which would be
Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, so now let me tell you something. All right? Very appropriate for this time. In the Hebrew calendar, tomorrow marks the date that the Chabad movement was established.
Which would be Tuesday the 9th.
Tuesday the 9th?
Sorry about that. Yeah. Is today the 8th?
Yeah, today's date. Tomorrow is Tuesday the 9th. In the Hebrew calendar, it's the 19th day of the month of Kislev. What's significant about this day in the Hasidic calendar, and the Chabad calendar, is the first Chabad leader. His name was Rabbi Schneur Zalman, and he lived in Russia at the time. And he was actually in prison. And he felt that the reason why he was in prison was because it was a new idea of teaching Judaism with the Chabad philosophy. And he felt that if he was going to jail, perhaps maybe it's a time to stop teaching with the Chabad philosophy. And what ended up happening was, through a series of different occurrences that took place, he actually came out of jail and from his imprisonment, and he actually said, okay, you know what, we have to revive the Chabad community.
Right.
And we have to establish that everyone is able to connect to this philosophy. And it's not something for elitists. It's not something for ultra-Orthodox. This is something that's attainable for everyone. So what is the Chabad movement? The Chabad movement is an organization where we teach Judaism on an intellectual in an intellectual format where everyone can understand exactly what it is that we're studying. We don't believe that Judaism needs to be watered down. We believe that every single person, Judaism, Torah, and its teachings is a wellspring of wealth, of knowledge, and there's no need to water down the teachings. Instead, we need to elevate every single person to be able to get the teachings. So what we do as an organization is we go out and we teach, and we show every single person, whether they're affiliated or whether they're observant in any fashion, in any way. We show them that they are created in an image of God. God has belief in them from the fact that they woke up in the morning. God wants them to do something, to accomplish something. And what we do is we encourage them that there's a intrinsic value, a Torah value as to what they are, what their calling is. And what we do as an organization is we teach the Torah the way it is, obviously in English, in a way that people can understand, people could appreciate, internalize, and be uplifted and inspired.
I love that. Fantastic. I'm glad I asked the question.
Yes.
All right. Chabad.
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
Correct. Yes.
All
You
right,
got
good.
the CH there.
Chabad.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Ladies and gentlemen, my guest has been Rabbi, how do you say, Benzion?
Yes.
Benzion Shemtov from the Chabad of Sierra Vista. I want to thank you so much again for being here and for taking the time to explain Hanukkah. And actually, from that, we learned a lot more.
Correct.
A lot of history, a lot of tradition, and so much more. Well, listen, we're going to wrap up. And by the way, do you send this out once I send you a link? You send it to your congregation?
Correct.
Okay, good. So we have that. Just so you know, we've got now about 1,000 followers, believe it or not. So we're reaching.
And
we're
counting.
And counting. Building the audience, and God willing, we'll continue to do that.
God willing, yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Our guest, once again, Rabbi Benzion Shemtov from the Chabad of Sierra Vista. We learned a lot today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Catch you next time.